From around the world on T Solid Radio. I am Joy Aki Olamigoke. First, the major headlines. Banner Republic finds fresh charges against Sunday Bull. London Foreign saying Algeria scraps quarantine rule despite COVID surge. Food aid will run out in Tigray by Friday, says United Nations. And on the world of sports, Manchester United close to completing Varane deal. And moving on to the news in details. Banner Republic has filed fresh charges against Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, who was arrested in the country last Monday. One of the Cotonou Benin Republic-based lawyers of Sunday Igboho, Ibrahim Salami, disclosed the new charges after Monday's hearing, where Igboho was ordered to remain in police custody in Benin Republic. Before the hearing, Salami had said that the legal team was expecting extradition charges from the Nigerian government against the activists. However, he said Sunday Igboho was confronted with fresh charges when he appeared on Monday. Some of the allegations which he said could not be proved are trafficking in arms, inciting violence that could result in social disturbance and causing disunity in Nigeria. Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chikwe Iyekwazo, disclosed at the ministerial briefing on COVID-19 in Abuja that Nigeria has so far recorded 10 new cases of the Delta COVID-19 variant. It was reported that the Delta variant is reorganized by the World Health Organization as a variant of concern, given its increased transmissibility and has so far been detected in over 90 countries. Iyekwazo was represented by Director of Disease Surveillance Department, Mrs. Elsie Ilori, while giving an update on Nigeria's COVID-19 situation, said that while progress had been made in response to the ongoing pandemic, with the fact-based development of diagnostic, therapeutic, and vaccines globally, variants of concerns with increased transmissibility pose a threat. The NCDC boss disclosed that the country's test positive rates based on polymerase chain reaction test alone, which he noted was an indication used to understand the level of virus transmission, increased to 3.5% in the country. IMF has retained its projection for Nigeria's economic growth prospect for this year at 2.5%. This is contained in the July World Economic Outlook (WEO) update released yesterday. The 2022 forecast was reviewed upward by 0.03 percentage points to 2.6%. Nigeria's projection is 0.9 percentage points lower than sub-Saharan Africa's estimated growth of 3.5%. It is also far less than the 6% global average growth estimate. The latest projections reflect the two-track recovery occasioned by uneven progress in the COVID-19 vaccination. Both the IMF and the World Bank had warned that developing countries unable to afford the cost of vaccines could lag as the global economy recovers from the ruins of the pandemic. According to the new document, the global institution marked down growth prospects of low-income developing countries (LIDCs) by 0.4 percentage point, citing slow rollout of vaccines as the main factor weighing on the recovery. The IMF, however, estimated the country's public debt to GDP ratio, which is currently at about 35% for 2021 at 48.5%. You are still listening to the news from around the world on T-Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sport news. Do remember that you can download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. on the foreign scene, the Algerian authorities have scrapped the quarantine period for people arriving in the country despite a surge in coronavirus infection. All arrivals are now only required to present a negative PCR test taken in the last 36 hours and take a new one on arrival. Since June 1, all those arriving to Algeria were being requested to self-isolate for 5 days in a hotel, which they would have to pay for. Many Algerians returning to the country from abroad were angered by the measures and criticized the services offered at some of the hotels designated for quarantine. The North African nation is facing a new record of coronavirus infection with 1,505 positive cases in the last 24 hours. However, the authorities have toughened the restrictions in the country with partial lockdowns in provinces most hit by infections, including the capital, Algiers. President Joe Biden says United States forces will end their combat mission in Iraq by the end of this year, but will continue to train and advise the Iraqi military. The announcement came after Mr. Biden held talks with Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi at the White House. There are currently 2,500 United States troops in Iraq, helping local forces counter what remains of the Islamic State group, and numbers of United States troops are likely to stay the same. But the move is being seen as an attempt to help the Iraqi PM. The United States presence in Iraq has become a major issue since top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani and the leader of an Iraq-backed Shia Muslim militias were killed in a United States drone attack in the capital, Baghdad, last year. The Netherlands has extradited to Rwanda a 72-year-old suspect accused of complicity in the 1994 genocide. Venant Rutunga was immediately taken into custody after he left a Dutch plane that arrived in Rwanda's capital, Kigali, on Monday night. In a statement, Rwanda's state prosecutor commended the Dutch authorities for contributing to the global effort to fight impunity. Mr. Rutunga was arrested in the Netherlands in 2019 on an arrest warrant issued by Rwanda. He fought against his extradition but lost a legal battle in May. The authorities in Rwanda accused Mr. Rutunga of orchestrating the killing of around 1,000 people from the Tutsi ethnic group when he served as a state agricultural officer in the southern parts of the country. And the head of the United Nations World Food Programme has warned that food aid in Ethiopia's Tigray region will run out this Friday and has called for more supplies to be allowed in immediately. David Beasley said 170 food trucks were being held up in the neighboring Afar region where fighting has taken place in recent days. Hundreds of thousands of people in Tigray are living in famine-like conditions. However, international calls for dialogue and a ceasefire have had no impact. Almost 9 months after the fighting began, there are signs that the conflict is spreading as the recruitment of fighters is taking place across several regions of the country. And on the world of sports, Manchester United has agreed on a deal to sign France defender Raphael Varane from Real Madrid. Varane had been a long-standing target for United, who last week completed the transfer of England winger Jadon Sancho from German club Borussia Dortmund for a reported €73 million. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer men are now closing in on the signing of Real centre-back Varane, having agreed a deal worth a reported €34 million, rising to €42 million. Meanwhile, the 28-year-old Varane, a 2018 World Cup winner, has 1 season left on his contract at Benenville. However, if his move to Old Trafford is completed, Varane would find himself vying for a place in the centre of United's defence with club captain Harry Maguire, Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof. Finally, Japanese star Naomi Osaka has crashed out of the Olympic tennis competition today after Flora Duffy delivered gold for Bermuda for the first time in tiny island's history. Osaka, who leads the Olympic cauldron in last week's opening ceremony, produced an arrow-strand performance in losing 6-1, 6-4 to Maketa Vendrosa, handing a cherished dream of winning on home soil. The 23-year-old, who is one of the faces of the Tokyo Games, had not played since May when she walked out of the French Open saying media commitments were harming her mental health. Our second seed, who was broken 5 times in the match, will be bitterly disappointed at missing out on a chance of Olympic gold, especially a world number 1, Ashley Barty, lost in the first round. And with that, we've come to the end of the news, a recap of the major headlines. Benin Republic files fresh charges against Sunday Igboho. And on the foreign scene, I read Algeria scrapes quarantine rule despite COVID surge. Food aid will run out in Tigray by Friday, United Nations. And on the world of sport, Manchester United close to completing Varane deal. Ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID-19 as recommended by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Do remember to download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms and at T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled and edited by Olorunishola Mary Omolafe. I am Joy Akin Olamigoke. Good afternoon and many thanks for listening.